is stumping in Pennsylvania. And Mr. Trump has nixed the idea of another debate with Harris. He says she needs it more than he does. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 64 points. NASDAQ futures 19 points higher. This is SRN News.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Rocket 102.5.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Bright sunshine expected today with daytime highs approaching 89. Winds out of the south 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, lows dip down to about 59. Highs level off around 87 tomorrow, mainly clear skies. Temperatures a bit above average Sunday and Monday with highs from the upper 80s to the low 90s. Slight chance of thunderstorms Sunday. Looking at the long range, 90 Tuesday, 87 Wednesday, and 90 on Thursday. Another look at the short range. Highs reach 89 today. Lows level off around 59 tonight. We should top out at 87 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently 64.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Goodland's Rocket 102.5 is your home for Goodland High School athletics. From touchdowns and three-pointers to home runs, Ross Volkmer has you covered with all the action. Join him for live broadcast on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, your front row seat to the Cowboys and Cowgirls. Select games video streamed on the Goodland Voice. GHS athletics this season are made possible in part by
Farm Credit of Western Kansas, Miller Construction, S&M Recovery and Towing, Land to Legacy Real Estate, and Cornerstone Orthodontics.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
They're having one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. That's right, a hail sale where you can get massive savings on a new vehicle. For example, get a 23 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $20,000 off when you trade in eligible vehicle, now just over $37,000. A new 24 Chevy Tahoe RST, $13,000 off, now just over $59K. Plus 24 Chevy Traverse RS, $10,000 off, now just over $45,000. Plus many more. It's one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumbrace hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
If you're looking for a more convenient way to access your funds and view your account, then sign up today for Internet Banking. Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts from your computer or even your phone. You can easily transfer between your accounts, view which checks have cleared, send payments through our Bill Pay feature, and even deposit your checks by taking a picture of them. Internet Banking will make your banking experience easy. If you'd like to sign up for Internet Banking, come see me, Victoria Ratcliffe, today at 202 East 11th Street in Goodland, FNB Bank, member FDIC.
Where is the best place to go to stream your favorite NWKS radio station? NWKSradio.net. Where should you go to find out what's happening in the area? NWKSradio.net. What's happening with local area sports? NWKSradio.net. Is the weather causing delays or cancellations? NWKSradio.net. Need tickets to the next big NWKS radio event? NWKSradio.net. The place to go to be in the know. NWKSradio.net.
Send your child back to school with the Explora X6 Play smartwatch from Viero. It has tools like geolocation alerts, earned rewards that your kids can redeem for achieving physical activity goals, and the ability to text and call approved pre-programmed numbers directly from their watch. The Explora X6 Play is the kids' premium smartwatch designed for their safety and your peace of mind. Get it as low as $10 per month with an unlimited plan bundle discount. Shop your local Viero Wireless today. Taxes and fees required. Additional restrictions may apply.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who have
1025, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
It's been a long, long time. But the Goodland Cowboys are going to play for a state title.
To the pros.
How about a walk-off grand slam? Touch of all time, Ryan McMahon.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and FNB Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Is 1-2 to Stallings. He reaches for and bloops it into right field for a hit. And then the ball bounces by Veerling. Rogers scores. Stallings does second, and the Rockies take a 3-2 lead.
Mac Hollins in motion. They hand it off to Cook. Cook bursts right through the middle, cuts to his right, inside the 35-30, 25-20, along the sidelines to the 5. High steps and then hurdles into the end zone. He flipped right.
2-2. Grounds one through into center field. Here comes Birdie. Rafaela's throw, not in time. Juan Soto's first walk-off hit as a Yankee. Comes
the gun is Tagovailoa. Sets up in the pocket. Now he's going the wrong way. He's going backward. His pass is intercepted at the 32-yard line. It'll be a pick six for the Bills.
Happy Friday morning, everybody. Glad you could join us here on the Morning Blitz. Broadcasting, as always, on Goodland's Rocket 1025, simulcasting on 730 Gold KLOE. Right now, 9 minutes past the top of the hour on this Friday, September the 13th. And we have another day very similar to yesterday. Temperatures expected to be around the upper 80s today for a high, and currently sitting in the low 60s at this point in time. Full show ahead, as we always do. Here to fill this complete hour up, our good friend from GoPowerCat.com, Ryan Gilbert, going to stop by the program today. We will visit with Ryan about the big game tonight at the Bill, a top 20 ranked matchup between Arizona and K-State, a non-conference or a conference non-conference game is how you want to call that one tonight. So Ryan Gilbert will stop by the program as our guest of the day. We have picks of the weekend to get to. We will get some other thoughts on not only does K-State play tonight, KU does as well, which is ridiculous, but it is true. And that is also a very good game. For those who don't know, they're taking on UNLV. That's also an intriguing football game. So we'll get to some more college football thoughts and talk coming up in our third segment today. We'll dive into some local sports as well, but wanted to start off the show a little bit. Thursday night football last night, just real quickly, a dominant performance from the Buffalo Bills. And there were two takeaways from this game. I know a lot of the takeaways are being talked about now on national television, national media about Tua and another concussion, the third of his NFL career, and whether he should be playing football now going forward, whether he should be hanging it up and moving on with his life with the amount of concussions that he has had. There's a lot of discussion about that here this morning. And that is a very, very big point. I mean, it's something that needs to be discussed, I think, within Tua's household, within his family, and it's getting to the point now where it needs to be a discussion at some point in time. But I don't know. I just find it funny that you have a bunch of people, talking heads on ESPN right now, talking about what Tua needs to do, and it's not their decision. It's Tua's decision. It's his life. It's his family, and he'll make the decision based upon what he thinks. Although there are a lot of people in the media that believe that his time needs to be done, that he needs to move on with his life and move on move away from football so that he can have a long and happy life, living with his family and have other things go on in his life as well. Which, from two perspectives on that would be a tough deal for the Dolphins, because they just paid Tua a big contract extension within the last year. And so you would have to, I don't know. It would be one of those deals where you'd hope I'm guessing they'd probably find a way to get Tua. They wouldn't want to cut Tua off completely, I guess is my point. But, that they just signed him to a long-term deal, hoping that he would be the franchise quarterback, and we'll see if that's still going to happen or not. But the other big takeaway I thought last night on Thursday Night Football, was a 31-10 win for the Bills, was that I guess Buffalo's a lot better than we thought. I at least to me, struggling with Arizona in the first game a little bit, missing some key pieces on the wide receiver side of things and defensively. In fact, one of them last night playing for the Dolphins, and Jordan Poyer, the defensive back / safety. Watching that game last night, the Bills look like a team that are ready and able to be a contender in the AFC East. They looked like through what is now 2 games for them, other teams I don't know, but they look like the best team in the AFC East to me. That was a really impressive performance. A great performance from James Cook. Defense was great, aided by some dumb things that Miami did, including that pick 6 by Tua. That was not good. But yeah, it's the Bills really looked good last night. And like I said, I thought maybe yesterday, I know I said on the show, I just don't know I think they might have been past that time, past that prime winning time. I could be wrong on that. They were talking about yesterday about how, well, maybe they went out and they got some different guys, or they paid some different guys. They let some guys go. What they were doing wasn't working. Maybe they just got to just tweak a few things here to get it right. Maybe that is the key. Maybe that is going to be the key for the Bills moving forward. But they looked very, very good last night against a good Dolphins team. But that was a very good performance by the Buffalo Bills. So there you go. Thursday Night Football in the books here. First game for Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, which I always kind of feel bad for those guys. I always feel like they get some real turds of games. And so, they're talking about Josh Allen's pistachio farm that he has in California. They're talking about all these different things just to get through the broadcast because it's 31-10 in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter. I feel bad for them. They really can't catch a break on a good game, it seems like, on NFL football on Prime. They really get some bad ones. Local sports. Let's get into that real quickly here today. There was plenty of local sports going on yesterday. There'll be a busy day and weekend ahead in local sports, starting first and foremost with another result from girls golf yesterday, as the Goodland Cowgirl golf team won another tournament, this time down at the Cimarron Golf Club. Third straight tournament to open up the season here. Tori Jones leading Goodland with a second place finish individually. Allie Cure came in third. Natalie Cure finished in 7th place. So another great showing from the Cowgirls with 3 girls in the top 10. Colby had another really good showing. They were 16 shots back of Goodland. Lady Eagles, once again, got a good performance out of their top two golfers in Logan Nolan and Natalie Wodersky, who placed 5th and 8th, respectively. So both in the top 10. So I said 16 shots was the difference. A little bit closer than it's been past couple of tournaments, but Goodland still ending up on top due to those 3 golfers inside the top 10. For the second straight tournament on the individual side of things, Rawlins County's Amelia Bowles had a really good showing. She won the tournament with an impressive 5 over par. That was really good. And on a day, and I guess I wasn't in Cimarron, but I would assume it was the same, where it was windy as all get out. That could not have been any fun whatsoever. And so to deal with that wind and to shoot 5 over par is a heck of a showing from Rawlins County's Amelia Bowles. That was very, very good. She's having a great season herself here in 2024. And then a shout out to Oakley's. I'm going to butcher this name, and I apologize. I think it's Giselle Vital. Had a great showing. She finished in 6th place for Oakley for Giselle. So that was very impressive. Yesterday, local golfers down at Cimarron having some very good showings. But the Goodland Cowgirls continue this great run where they are off to now winning 3 consecutive tournaments to begin this season. And like I said the last time, a couple days ago, this is what it is. You know, you get a team that's good and they kind of start winning a few tournaments. This is kind of the trend we'll see throughout the season. And we'll see if it just continues all the way into the postseason for Goodland. Some volleyball from last night. Colby High School volleyball back on the court after their great start here in 2024. They pick up 2 more wins. They sweep Hugoton in straight sets, and then they are able to defeat Holcomb in 3 sets. Colby, by the way, 7-3 on the year, and a shout out to Elizabeth Barton, who picked up her 1,000th career dig. She's the first Lady Eagle to ever do that in the program's history. So that was very cool, but 1,000 digs for Elizabeth Barton after she got that in the Holcomb match, which they took in 3 sets, and are now 7-3 on the season. It's been a great start to Colby Lady Eagle volleyball here in 2024. Oxy volleyball, they split their 2 matches last night. They fell to Scott City 2-0, then swept Hill City. So they split those, go 1-1. It's a very busy couple days of volleyball. You've got Goodland at home hosting Burlington tonight, trying to get on track after a rough start here for the Cowgirl volleyball season. Let's see. Also tonight you have, I think it's Weskin at Rolla for some volleyball. Once again, it's kind of one of those deals where you got the football and the volleyball teams going to one place. They'll play the volleyball first, and the football will follow. Saturday, you have the Gove County Classic happening over there in Grinnell, Wheatland area. Shiland, Quinter, Golden Plains, Oakley, Decatur community all be attending the Gove County Classic volleyball tournament. Wallace County will be going to Waukene for their volleyball tournament on Saturday. Cross country Saturday, you got Greeley County Cross Country Invite, Goodland, St. Francis, Wallace County, Oakley going to that. Colby going to Wamego to run. They always love to go to that meet to get a feel for what it's like to run over the eastern side of the state in case you make it to the state finals. Fort Hays Tech Northwest Cross Country running at the Fort Hays State Tiger Open. And then Goodland Tennis has their invitational on Saturday. They'll invite Colby and other teams to come compete there, but Goodland Tennis Invite happening here on Saturday. Let's see. A couple more things here before we get into high school football tonight. Colby Community College volleyball. The 7th-ranked Lady Trojans hosting their quad, the Colby Quad, here starting today and rolling into Saturday. They've got Otero today, and then 2 matches on Saturday, Iowa Western and Lamar. And, of course, we can't forget about high school football. It is week 2 of the season kicking off here tonight. Colby is visiting Holyoke, Colorado, a game you can hear on 100.3 The Ride. Holyoke's had a nice resurgence over the last couple of years. They were a really good passing team last couple of years. We'll see after a nice, convincing win for Colby over Ulysses how they handle Holyoke, who, once again, I think is a really good football team. And honestly, any team that's in the eastern side of Colorado is usually pretty good. If you're a part of the Raids, the Yumas, the Holyokes, the Burlingtons, of course, Lyman's in there, Strasburg. There's, you just drive east of Denver and you're going to see a lot of towns that have really, really good football programs in the state of Colorado. So that will be going on this weekend. So that's coming up here today on 100.3 The Ride. Will be the first game. I believe that Chad Jones will be there, but I believe also our new Colby sports guy, Max Gershon, will be there to help with the call as well. Oakley looking for their first win after taking it on the chin against Norton in the season opener. They take on Russell. Interesting to see where the Plainsmen stack up from multiple perspectives, but also from a Goodland perspective as the Cowboys will face them next week over in Oakley. In 8-man football today, you've got Decatur Community hosting Dighton. That should be an interesting game. Decatur Community is a much improved program. Dighton's very, very good. They beat Rollins County in week 1. So both teams are 1-0. That should be a very interesting game. Hoxie will play host to Trigo. Rollins County will host Greeley County for homecoming already here in week number 2. That seems to happen earlier and earlier every single year. Quinter will be visiting Wallace County for some football tonight. Quinter did not have a good showing in week 1 against St. Francis, and so we'll see what Wallace County has in store for them here coming up tonight. And then 6-man football, you've got Tri-Plains Brewster visiting Moscow. Golden Plains will host Ingalls, which should be a very interesting game. Golden Plains is very much improved from a year ago with a lot of guys coming back and playing very, very well this year. And then you got Ingalls, who really looked good in their first game. They won dominantly, running the football, did not even have a passing they don't even have a pass in that game in their week 1 win for them. And I was going to look up St. Francis, where St. Francis was playing today. Oh, they've got Wheatland Grinnell. They have Wheatland Grinnell today, does St. Francis. So there you go. There's your look at the football games for today. And of course, we've got right here on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, the Goodland Cowboys at home hosting Burlington. With a kickoff set for 6 o'clock Mountain Time. We'll be on the air with pregame at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. This is a big game, I think, for the Cowboys season. And this is all my personal opinion. I think it's just a huge game today for the Cowboys season. If Goodland wants to have the type of year that they think they should have and want to have, they need to win this game today. It's simple as that. This is a Burlington team that I believe is improved from last year. And once again, this is a Burlington team that won 1 game last year, and it was against Goodland. The Cowboys had 6 turnovers in that loss at Burlington last year. Burlington had 5. There was 11 total turnovers in that football game, which is just ridiculous to think about, but there was. And Goodland ended up losing, I think, 42-32. Despite a massive game from Lincoln Curie, had over 230 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. And it pretty much took the entire Burlington team to tackle him in a couple of plays. But that's beside the fact. If the Cowboys want to have the type of season that they want to have this year, they're going to have to win this game here tonight, I think. That means you've got to make those. I always talk about, improving from week 1 to week 2, and it's the biggest week of improvement from week 1 to week 2. Cowboys need to have that happen for them. They need to be better, especially in the fundamental areas. They need to be better at blocking. That means not just getting to your spot, as Coach Mosier told me, but that means sticking on your man without holding, obviously, but, sticking on your man, pushing them out of the way and creating bigger holes for your backs to run through, giving your quarterback a split second more time to hit that pass down the field. It all begins and ends in the trenches, and they need to be a little bit better at blocking for sure is one thing, and tackling is another. And that's an entirety deal. The Cowboys have got to be a better tackling team than they were in week 1. I think the Cowboys, for the most part, there were some breakdowns, schematically letting some guys get outside and things of that sort, but got to be better tackling today if you're going to pick up a win and really be successful going forward. You've got to block better and you have to tackle better. And that doesn't matter who the competition is. Doesn't matter if it's the worst team on your schedule or if it is one of the toughest teams on your schedule. Like, I'm not saying Ray will be the toughest team on their schedule, but it's going to be one of theirs. It's going to be one of the top couple of them. So you know where you stand. And I think it all comes down to, once again, the fundamentals. Can you block better? Can you tackle better if you're the Goodland Cowboys? And Goodland needs to show the ability, offensively at least, to stay on the field and make long drives. You know, the Cowboys were very good in the opening week about taking what was thrown at them. So, for example, they were very good. Oh gosh, there was a muffed punt. We can cover it up. We got a short field. They were very good at taking advantage of the short field. Very good. Now it's about building that and saying, can we complete these 40-yard drives, these 60-yard drives, these 70-yard drives? Can we go down the field? Can we drive it down the field and do that? That, to me, that's one of the bigger questions today. Can they sustain a drive and result it up in points? That's going to be a big question I'm looking to see tonight from Goodland. And it's not going to be an easy game tonight. This is a Burlington program that I believe is very much improved. They've got a new head coach in Mitchell Richardson, a young man who played underneath Glenn Higgs, who was the longtime legendary coach there for Burlington. And they've kind of gone back to doing things that they were doing back when they were having that great run underneath Coach Higgs, winning 8, 9, even 10 games and even some state championships along the way. They are, they're lining up in kind of some old school formations. This is according to the film. More on that in just a second. But, they're lining up in old school formations. They're running the ball with the tailback and the fullback. They do some play. They do play action off of that and hit a guy down the seam. Connor Haldy's a number one as a player to watch tonight. He's very, very talented, fast kid. They don't, as Coach Moser said, and I would agree, I don't think they have anybody that's going to be like a high-end college football player. No one's going to go play D1 or D2 football, but maybe an NAIA guy here or there. They just got some good football players who play very hard. And visiting with Kerry Sherman, who does play-by-play for the Burlington Cougars, they're playing with effort the entire game from whistle to whistle and from the time it says 60 on the clock all the way down to when it says 0. They play with great effort. And you can do a lot of things with that. By simplifying things and just playing with effort, you can have a lot of success. And Burlington seems to be doing that. Week 1 against Platte County, not to be confused against, I think it was Platte. Yeah, it's Platte Valley. Against Platte Valley in week 1, they looked solid. They gave up a couple of big plays. There was one play that really stands out to me. Connor Haldy chased down a running back, tackle him inside the 5 after a 70-plus yard run. They held him out of the end zone. They went 4 and out from that point forward, and there was no points were scored. That was an amazing effort play. It's those kind of plays there that really stood out on the film watching Burlington. So they're not going to be an easy out. They won't be. But at the same time, I think if you're Goodland, I think this is a winnable game. It's a winnable game for both teams. And I think because of that, it's one of the games. If you want to have the season that you want to have, you got to win that game tonight. You need to find a way to win this game tonight. And it sets up, and once again, this is just me talking. This is not, players or coaches or anything. But if you look at the schedule, we talked about it post-game at Ray. Not trying to get the cart in front of the horse here. But if you want to have the type of season you want to have, that means you're going to have to win some games, and this is the stretch to do it, starting now. You've got Burlington. You've got Oakley. Holcomb coming up, which will be a challenge. Ulysses, Colby. Those are some games where if you can go out and play well, you'll have a chance in all of them. But you got to go out and do the little things right. Block better, tackle better, follow your assignments, not go off in your own little land and do your own thing. You got to do what you're assigned to do. You got to do. They always what does Bill Belichick say? Do your job. There's 11 little jobs out on the football field. There's 11 jobs every single play. Do your individual job. The totality will result in success. Do your job. Don't go rogue and do your own thing. Do your job that you're assigned to do. I think that's what makes it kind of cool. I've always described it. It's kind of like an engine, for example. If you have all the pistons firing and all that stuff, spark plugs working, all that stuff, the engine runs smoothly and you go right down the road, nice and easy. But if you've got a spark plug that's not working correctly or something's gunking up the engine and whatever, it doesn't run. It still runs, but it doesn't run correctly. So you have to do your job, be your little part in the engine, do your job, and that usually results in good things. So we'll find out tonight. I think, once again, we'll have a very entertaining football game on Rocket 102.5 as Goodland hosts Burlington in the home opener tonight from Cowboy Stadium. And hopefully the wind, I don't think it will be. Hopefully the wind will not be blowing like it was yesterday. That was bad. That was not a fun day. So hopefully the weather will be better for sure. Okay, let's get to a break. When we come back, Ryan Gilbert is going to join us from GoPowerCat.com. A huge game tonight in the college realm. Probably the game of the weekend, in my opinion. K-State hosting Arizona in a top 20 matchup tonight on Fox. And, of course, you can catch it on AM 790 KXXX tonight. You can listen to, because of Colby football on 100.3, you can catch the Wildcats tonight. But that should be a dandy of a football game. And Ryan Gilbert's is going to stop by to give us a feel for what it's like there in the Little Apple. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Friday.
As a customer-owned cooperative, Midwest Energy members elect their board of directors. Ballots for this year's director election are in the mail and must be completed and returned by October 4th. Election results will be announced at our annual meeting on Monday, October 21st, 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn in Hayes. We'll give away great door prizes, and all Midwest members are invited to attend.
Morning market updated. It's Friday, September 13th. Friday the 13th. Corn up 5 1/4, 5 11 1/4. March up 4 3/4, 4.29 1/4. 25 up 2 3/4 at 4.48. Soybeans on the November up 7 3/4 at 10.18 1/2. Jan up 7 1/4 at 10.36 1/4. KC wheat on the December up 10 3/4 at 5.97. March up 10 1/2, 6.10 1/2. July 25 up 10 1/4 at 6.20 3/4. Chicago wheat up 12 at 5.90 1/2. Free cattle finished 242.05. Live cattle 178.02 1/2, and lean hogs 78.90. Crude oil futures up $1 a barrel at 70.01. Gold futures up 23.30 an ounce, 2,580. Silver up 42 cents, 34. U.S. dollar index down 36 points at 199. Dow futures up 109 at 41,258. S&P futures up 10 at 5,006. Need to move any cash, grain, or want to talk about risk management? You can reach out to myself, Jared Law, Tom Sluter, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4444.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market
Can you
partners
hear me?
with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio.
Yes, you hear me?
I can. We're loud and clear.
Cool.
All right, we'll come to you here in just a little bit.
Trader, consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we're born to raise. At Hogemeyer. Learn more
At
at
CHS, we know
therightseed.com.
what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
They're having one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. That's right, a hail sale where you can get massive savings on a new vehicle. For example, get a 23 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $20,000 off when you trade in eligible vehicle, now just over $37,000. A new 24 Chevy Tahoe RST, $13,000 off, now just over $59K. Plus 24 Chevy Traverse RS, $10,000 off, now just over $45,000. Plus many more. It's one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Bringing you the best regional sports talk.
Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
From scores to stories, the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Continuing here on a Friday morning, September the 13th. A reminder from the FB Bank text line, the number 785-899-2222. Thanks again for the text for chiming in. Also this weekend, very busy weekend in Colby with the Colby Community College Rodeo going. I think over like 450 to 500 cowboys and cowgirls going to be in town to be a part of that. Big party tonight happening in Manhappiness as we are joined now on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream by our good friend. That would be Ryan Gilbert, who joins us now. Good morning, buddy. How we doing?
Morning, Ross. It's been a while, man. I need to get out there for a little rodeo. Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah. Have you done any rodeoing in your life? I don't think so.
Have not. So maybe got to change that.
I haven't either, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I've seen, living out here, I've been exposed a little bit more. It's a little bit more dangerous sport than I think than some of us give it. Even just the roping and stuff can be a little dangerous at times. So. Yeah, I think I'll just stick to
talking about it then.
Yeah, let's talk about rodeo and we'll talk about football as well. What's the vibe happening there in Manhappiness here today as we get set for this top 20 matchup on a Friday of all days?
K-State's 2-0, on the season, Ross, and so it's tough to really complain, but certainly there's a lot of stuff to nitpick about this team. Like I mentioned, 2-0, but a lot of issues offensively, defensively. The secondary against Tulane was very bad, to be blunt, Ross. Gave up a lot of big plays. Those are going to have to get cleaned up tonight against Arizona, unless it might be a long night for Noah Fafita and McMillan, that deadly duo that Arizona presents. But, Avery Johnson, I wouldn't say he's been terrible, but certainly has missed a few passes, hasn't really been given the opportunity to really open up the playbook. And so tonight I would expect, to see a lot more of Dylan Edwards. I think K-State's going to have to come together, play a much more clean, crisp game than what we've seen the first two games. And obviously, I keep mentioning it, 2-0. K-State, it could be so much worse, but it's been sloppy to start the season. Fans, are rather unhappy with that. And obviously, with Dylan Edwards' usage being so low, there's just a lot of question marks heading into this game. And so, this could be the coming out party where K-State finally has everything clicking on all cylinders and comes out firing and just really puts on a show. But in theory, that sounds great. We just haven't seen it on the field yet.
So I get the sense from you, because I haven't been in Manhattan yet, but I get the sense from people there around the close to the, follow the program very closely there that things are just not looking as I guess they thought it would here early on through two games.
Yeah, I mean, it's correct. And a lot of that does maybe go back to the playbook or the lack thereof of the playbook being shown. And I get it, against UT Martin in the first game, you're going to be able to beat a team like that with ISO up the middle, basic plays. K-State's just bigger dudes, better players. And so nobody really had much of a problem against UT Martin. Against Tulane, though, we saw much of the same plays. Nothing was really creative. The concepts, Kansas State wasn't scheming to win that game. And that was kind of the issue there. Tulane came to play. Darian Mensah, its quarterback, was a heck of a player. And bluntly put, Ross, the better quarterback last Saturday down in New Orleans. He was better than Avery Johnson. And so Kansas State should have figured out pretty quickly that was going to be a dogfight. And we still just didn't see the playbook really get opened up. And so, again, on Friday, you're going to have to pull out some more stops against Arizona. And so it's, unless this is the playbook, and if what we've seen is the playbook, it will be a long year for sure. So we'll see what happens, Ross. We'll see what happens.
How much could this be, Ryan, that they're trying to hold some things back just, for the bigger games that are ahead of this season? You said, Tulane's a good team and you don't want to hold too much back, but at the same time, you're trying to keep a few things back for the games that really, really matter.
Yeah, they're doing that for sure. And also with Avery Johnson, everybody knows it, Ross, that he's a running quarterback. He can obviously make some throws and stuff, but with his feet is where he can do his damage. Haven't seen that much for the first two games, and I think trying to keep Avery Johnson healthy is a big reason for that. And obviously the backup quarterbacks, we've heard that they're comfortable with them, but Avery Johnson's certainly head and shoulders above any quarterback on K-State's roster. And so, Avery, I get it. You do want to protect your body, but you go back to last week, I kind of keep saying, right? Like okay, this is going to be a good game. You need to have Avery Johnson run the football because that's what gives you the best chance to win. K-State fortunately able to escape with the victory, of course, but it was rather, too close for comfort. Avery Johnson, if you let him loose, maybe K-State wins that by 2-3 touchdowns.
Ryan Gilbert is our guest, our good friend from GoPowerCats.com. How much about we talked about the running backs, and no doubt DJ Giddens has looked good, and I know they want to see more out of Dylan Edwards, but are they getting enough out of the wideouts and the tight end room, you think, here through the first two games, or they need more from those guys to help Avery out?
Yeah, the wideouts haven't necessarily been bad, but I would say that group has underperformed through first two games of this season. There's been some bright moments. Guys have actually gotten open on a couple of occasions, and Avery Johnson's just missed them. Sterling Lockett had an easy touchdown. If Avery Johnson just delivers a decent ball, and Avery sailed it. And so, Avery Johnson's kind of maybe partly to blame a little bit, but, and of course this is kind of being critical, but the wideouts could be better. They could be a lot better, especially given the hype, the excitement, that we kind of heard about heading into this season. There was a lot of good things being said about the wideouts within that coaching staff. And so they haven't obviously lived up to that, but, we've seen some bright moments, but certainly on Friday night here, this is an opportunity for them to really come out and maybe, take over the game, right? Wideouts have been just kind of mediocre and pedestrian through the first two games. And then, you mentioned the wideouts, Garrett Oakley. We had some pretty high expectations for him. Hasn't really been a factor in K-State's offense, but you look at the depth, Braden Lofton and Will Swanson, two guys that, we didn't necessarily think to be up scoring touchdowns, have both found the end zone in the first two games. And so, I think it's tough. Obviously, if you want to look at it glass half empty, the wideouts and tight ends could certainly be better, but at the end of the day, those are probably further down the list of the issues that K-State's had throughout the start of the 2024 season.
No, I hear you there. Defensively, I know when I was visiting Wyatt Thompson earlier this year, he talked about how he thought the defense was going to be the strength of this team. How much did that quote take a hit in the Tulane contest? Now, you've already said Tulane's good football team, but that defense giving up some big plays to Darian Mensa. Now, they did have the biggest play, of course, obviously with the scoop and score off the sack fumble, but defensively overall.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, Ross, that the scoop and score against Tulane. I don't believe Kansas State wins that game without that play. And then the icing on the cake was a VJ Payne interception in the end zone to ice it at the very end with 7 seconds left, whatever. So defense did step up late when it mattered, but it was not a pretty day. And there were miscommunications, there were mishaps, errors. Chris Kleiman talked about his guys need to use their eyes better in the secondary, trust their eyes. So it's certainly going to be something that's going to have to get corrected against Arizona. But it'd be nice if K-State's defense, if that group could live up to its expectations. Avery Johnson doesn't have to be Superman out there. If he, not to be a game manager, but just go out, facilitate the offense, don't turn the ball over, get the ball in your playmakers' hands, take off a few times here and there up the field if you're Avery Johnson, but you don't have to do everything if that defense can be solid and stout like we think it can be. But without a doubt, Ross, a lot of things are going to have to get corrected against Arizona. And I think the corrections were kind of made in the second half. The defensive secondary did improve, didn't give up as many big plays as it had earlier on against Tulane. But, those things are out there. They're on tape. And so I'm sure Arizona will be looking to take advantage of that.
Yeah, let's talk about the opponent Arizona tonight. By the way, Ryan Gilbert, our guest from GoPowerCat.com, joining us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream here this morning. This Arizona team, first of all, this is a weird thing because it is a conference, non-conference game. It's their conference foes, but this game will not count towards the conference record. So, but at the same time, this is a really good Arizona team. And like you said off the top, talking about Noah Fafita, the quarterback, Tub McMillan at the wide receiver spot. Those are two, I don't know, as of right now, they're probably future pros at this point in time. We'll see how their careers go. They're only sophomores. But tell me more about this Arizona team. And it's particularly, what do you think they're going to present defensively against this K-State offense?
Well, Arizona is everything that we've kind of said about Kansas State. It can be said for Arizona. Struggled in its first 2 games. They're 2-0, of course, but a pretty bad defensive outing, especially in the first half to open up the season against New Mexico. And then they squeak by Northern Arizona last week, where the offense was non-existent, but the defense was able to step up in that game. In game number 1, the offense was lethal, was potent. McMillan had 4 touchdowns in that game to open up the season. So that really showed us what that duo is capable of. And so it's one of the best, if not the best duos in the country. But Arizona, I think Kansas State's going to have to try to run the football tonight and establish that rushing attack. If Arizona starts loading up the box to try to sell out to stop the run, that can open up the playbook like we've been talking about for Avery Johnson to get the ball in his playmakers' hands, take some shots downfield, try to score some points that way. So Arizona presents challenges, obviously, and their star running back has had some eligibility issues, didn't play last weekend. That's something to follow, see if he suits up tonight or not. But Arizona's, the tackling, the fundamentals from our understanding was kind of poor to open up the season. They had some injuries on the offensive line. They'll probably be back healthy tonight. And so should be a heck of a game, Ross, but it won't be easy. That, Arizona's got a potent offense, but Kansas State, I don't know if you necessarily want to get into a shootout, though. I think K-State would love to win this game 27-20 rather than have to get into the 40s and 50s in a shootout. Now, K-State, I'm sure, would love to get into that offense and play like that, but would love to see the defense shine against Arizona.
No, you're right. I don't think you want to get in a shootout with Arizona and that high-powered passing attack. Moving back to the offense real quickly, how much have maybe these early season, we'll just call them struggles a little bit here, how much do you think that goes back to having a new offensive line pretty much?
Yeah, I think the offensive line, Ross, that's fair. They haven't been great. Obviously, there's been some injuries there as well. Carver Willis sounds like he'll be good to go tonight, but there's not much optimism with Hadley Panzer. So, moving guys around, gelling together. I know that's kind of cliche to say, but when you've got new guys coming in, certainly, man, that makes a difference. You've got a new quarterback back there too. I know Avery Johnson played in the bowl game, had some snaps throughout the 2023 season, but that's a new quarterback. You got a new Connor Riley, the co-offensive coordinator. This is his first year being a coordinator at Kansas State. Matt Wells, other co-offensive coordinator, came in from the outside. So certainly Wells has added some flavor to the group, but there's still maybe some wrinkles and stuff getting worked out, but that obviously does start with the offensive line. They haven't been perfect, but DJ Giddens has had a lot of success running the football, and not to take anything away from Giddens' ability, but that does kind of start up front with the offensive line. So, Ross, I talked about Avery Johnson. I talked about the wideouts. Haven't necessarily been bad, but haven't been great. I think that's fair to put the offensive line kind of in that same realm.
Well, just so many high expectations for this football team coming in, and with so many key pieces graduating at key positions like the offensive line, and Ben Sinnott at the tight end spot as well, and a brand new quarterback. No matter how much he played a little bit last year, you can kind of expect some of this early. And if you can find a way, of course, to win these games and still have these struggles, that's when you have something good.
Yeah, good teams find ways to win games, right? That's how the old saying goes. But yeah, I mean, I think Kansas State, the fan base is kind of uneasy right now. So Kansas State obviously wins our wins, but if this team were to go out and just not dominate, but show, this game's on Fox, national television on a Friday night, everyone's going to be watching. This is an opportunity to really maybe not turn the season around, but if Kansas State plays the way that it's played in its first 2 games, the Wildcats aren't winning more than 3-4 games in the Big 12, Ross. And that's obviously with the limited playbook we've seen and stuff. So I know it's not fair to say that K-State's been bad, but stuff has to change here moving forward. And there's confidence in the coaching staff to change stuff and get better and, learn from the mistakes against Tulane. I'm not saying that they can't change, but they're going to have to change heading into this Arizona game and moving forward as well.
A couple more quick ones for you here. Ryan Gilbert, our guest on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream of GoPowerCat.com. You've talked about, the kind of the nervous energy there, maybe in Manhattan for tonight's game a little bit. How about the thoughts of playing on a Friday night? What's been the thoughts on that? Sometimes it's kind of a sticky deal with the Friday night lights and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's been some, high school players, coaches and stuff unhappy about it. And, It's funny, Chris Kleiman was actually asked about it on Monday in his press conference, and Kleiman just kind of deferred it, said, "Hey, I've got no control over it. Money talks, and TV rights, all this stuff is kind of why we're here." But yeah, personally, I think it's fun. Ross, I get to enjoy my Saturday and watch all the college football games out there, so I'm not going to complain, certainly. But it's obviously you're on a short week, but Arizona, K-State's got the advantage playing at home. Arizona played late Saturday. Kansas State played early Saturday. And so, there's certainly some things to like about it from Kansas State's perspective. But I know within the locker room, Coach Kleiman's message is just, hey, I've got no control over it. So just go out and play. You got your opponent, you got your field, your date, and you just got to show up and play, right?
That's right. Where we've been burying the lead. The big news, though, is that Ryan is now a full-fledged member of Go Power Cat now. He was always kind of a part-timer as we've known him, but this is his first appearance on the Blitz as a full-timer. It looks like it's doing you well. Your room looks good behind you. You are a full Go Power Cat guy. Yeah,
it's been great, Ross. It's been great. I miss my bartending days in Aggieville. I miss it, but at the same time, it's nice to get away from that and really focus on this, my craft. It's been great. Fitz named me managing editor, which is, I just think that's the coolest thing to be a managing editor at Go Power Cat. But it's been great, Ross. It's been great.
The managing editor. You tell me you can't pick up a shift at the bar somewhere making some drinks from now time to time if you just want to step in there? I don't believe that.
maybe in the summertime. We'll see what happens. We're on good terms and everything. I just, time to move on. But maybe in the summertime, if money gets tight, Fitz doesn't pay me enough, maybe we'll see if I can get back there for a night or two.
Well, we got to talk to Fitz. He's making money hand over fist. There's no reason for that to be happening. No reason whatsoever. Ryan Gilbert of GoPowerCat.com. Ryan, my friend, thank you so much for spending some time with us here today. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the Friday Night Lights tonight with Kansas State, and we'll catch up soon, okay?
Yep, absolutely, Ross. Be busy, okay?
Once again, we will. Once again, that is Ryan Gilbert of GoPowerCat.com joining us here on the Morning Blitz. All right, let's get to a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap the show quick with some thoughts on KU, UNLV tonight. Also get to some picks of the weekend. That's next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Friday.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Hi, it's Andrew Hoiberg from Calcium Products. Rapidly correct and maintain your soil pH with 98G pelletized limestone to protect your fertilizer investment. Applying 98G at 200 pounds per acre provides a 9.4 bushel increase on corn and a 3.1 bushel increase on soybeans. Ask your agronomist about applying 98G pelletized limestone this fall and learn more at calciumproducts.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
The region's only local sports talk.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Thanks again to Ryan Gilbert for hopping on the program. Always good to have him on, and it's great to see him on the Pearl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Got about 5 minutes left to go before the top of the hour, and we are out of here on a Football Friday. And it's a loaded Football Friday. I mean, not only the high school, but of course with K-State playing tonight against Arizona. And you kind of heard, Ryan talk about it a little bit. He kind of thinks maybe a closer, low-scoring game, especially if K-State's going to win. Definitely don't want to get in a shootout against Arizona, although I think K-State, if they were to get in a shootout, it wouldn't be maybe as bad. I think they'd be able to hang in there a little bit. Sometimes you need those shootout games to kind of see what you can do offensively, and then you know what to do going down the rest of the road. Talked a lot about K-State there in the first segment. KU also, of course, playing tonight. So both Kansas teams will be done playing by tonight. They will be done here in week number 3. Kansas, not to be overlooked. Of course, K-State Arizona is a top 20 matchup. I get that. But the UNLV Rebels and the Kansas Jayhawks facing off there at Children's Mercy Park is another very interesting football game. You've got, first of all, on KU's side, we all know that this team is a solid, especially offensively. They've got all the pieces to be very good. They've got a great wide receiving core. We know Devin Neal is going to be one of the top running backs taken in the upcoming NFL draft. It's the quarterback. It's the engine of that drives that offense. Jalen Daniels, that's got to pick up his play. Simple as that. Right now, he's completing little over 50% of his passes. The problem is he's got 3 touchdowns and 4 picks. Not, 4 touchdowns and 2 picks, or that's not good. Jalen Daniels got to find a way to shake off that rust that he's apparently experiencing from being injured all of last year, and he's got to find a way to hold on and protect the football. It's hard to win games when you turn the ball over as much as Kansas did against Illinois. They could have won that game. They moved the ball up and down the field against them, but if you turn the ball over against anybody, you're not going to have the kind of success that you want to have. So you have to hold on to the gosh darn football. So I'm intrigued to see if they can take a step in the right direction there with him, and again limit those turnovers, keep things a little bit closer to the vest. Here's the thing, though. UNLV doesn't have that great quarterback that they had last year. He transferred to USC to back up Miller Moss. But they've got another quarterback, the Sluka kid, he's got 5 touchdowns to 1 pick throwing, and he's got a rushing touchdown over 130 yards rushing through 2 games. They picked up 2 wins, and they beat Houston, a Big 12 team, 27-7. Now, I know Houston is in a complete rebuild. I get that. But this is not a game I'd be overlooking if I'm a Kansas fan. I know KU's got a 9.5-point favorite at this point in time. I would not overlook this game. This is going to be another good football game with UNLV. I think UNLV is going to run the ball. It's going to test Kansas's rush defense, especially quarterback run game, which is so hard to stop because you get that man-on-man advantage. So can they stop the run? I think that's be the huge key for Kansas. Can you stop the running game, particularly the quarterback run game? And then do you not turn the ball over on offense? If you can do those 2 things tonight, I believe you're going to get yourself a win. Maybe even cover the 9.5. But we'll see. I really think this game is going to be a close one. It's going to possibly be a nail-biter for KU fans. Not saying they won't win it, but I think it's going to be a nail-biter for sure tonight at over there in Kansas City. But KU, UNLV, another great Friday night game. 2 really good games in the state of Kansas taking place with KU and Kansas State. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
A 3-run walk-off home run. A game-winning walk-off.
With a walk-off. His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion. That baby's go.
In baseball yesterday, you had the Rockies end up taking that final game of that series against the Tigers. Jacob Stallings, the big RBI. They have a series opener against the Cubs tonight, back at home at Coors Field. That place can be packed. There'll be a ton of Cubs fans there. They always come out of the woodwork. Royals had the day off. They are in Pittsburgh this weekend for a weekend series against the Pirates. Sunday in the NFL, of course, you got Broncos hosting the Steelers and Chiefs hosting the Bengals. Both those games will kick off at 3:25 Central, 2:25 Mountain Time. 100-point through the ride, your place for the Chiefs. Rocket 102.5 right here, your place for the Denver Broncos in week 2 of the NFL season. All right, let's get to some picks. Get to the picks, Ross. All right, here are the picks. Right now, sitting 4-5-1 overall this season. I've got Arizona covering the 7 points at Kansas State. I think it's a close game. I think the Wildcats, though, do pull it off because they are at home. Kansas, UNLV, I'm going to take the over of 57.5. I'm going to take the over. Once again, I think it'll be a close game. UNLV is going to keep it close. I think KU still finds a way to get the win at home, particularly. But I'm going to take the over at 57. I think a lot of points are scored. Colorado, give me the cover the 7 points against Colorado State. They come back with a vengeance. The Chiefs, they're going to cover the 5.5 points against the Bengals. And Denver, they're going to win outright. They're going to get the win against the Steelers, I think, in their home opener. That's what I think. And I think Nebraska beats Northern Iowa, for those who wonder, but there was no spread on that. That'll do it for us. Catch Goodland Cowboy football tonight and Colby Eagle football as well on your favorite KWC stations. We'll see you on Monday.
Rocket 102.5, KKCI, Goodland, Colby, Burlington. This is